Hello and welcome to Meet Real-Time Enterprise File on the Pure Storage platform. Today's webinar is sponsored by Pure Storage and produced by Actual Tech Media. My name is Scott Becker. I'm from Actual Tech and I'm excited to be your moderator for this especially timely presentation. Now, before we get to today's great content, we do have a few housekeeping items that are going to help you get the most out of this session. Let's talk questions. We want this to be an informative event for you, so we encourage any questions in the questions box in your webinar control panel. We won't be able to do a dedicated Q&A session at the end of this one, but we will pass along any questions that you have to the team from Pure Storage for follow-up. That Q&A panel is also the place to let us know about any technical issues that you might be experiencing. A browser refresh will fix most audio, video, and slide advancement issues, but if that doesn't work, just let us know in the Q&A and we'll provide further technical assistance. Okay, next, handouts. In the handout section of your webinar control panel, you'll find that we're offering several resources. I'd especially like to call your attention to a link to an Ask the Experts on-demand session, a link to a Pure Storage customer story, and of course, a link to Pure Storage's website for more information. So I encourage you to access those resources now and feel free to share them with your friends and colleagues. Now, I'm sure you noticed the prize icon there. At the end of this webinar event, we'll be awarding a $250 Amazon gift card to one lucky registrant. Of course, you must be in attendance during the live event to qualify for the prize. Official terms and conditions of today's prize drawing can be found in the handout section. Just scroll to the bottom and you'll find the prize terms and conditions link there. Okay, with that housekeeping out of the way, let's get to today's timely discussion. So it's my pleasure to introduce you to our presenters from Pure. Starting us off will be CMO Lynn Lucas. She'll be followed by Pure's Master of Ceremonies for this event, Kevin Rickson, who will bring in the rest of the speakers, including Matt Bradford, Director of Technical Marketing, Kartik Srinivasan, Director of Product Management. Kevin will also be introducing us to Payal Srivastava, Senior Director of Product Management, and Jonathan Carnes, Principal Product Manager. We'll also be hearing from Pure Storage customer Mike DeHaan of the Mississippi Department of Revenue. So that's a lot of people and a lot of conversations, so let's get right to it.
Welcome! It's great to have you here at the Pure Storage Fall 2024 launch event. Thank you for joining us. I'm Lynn Lucas, and I'd like to take a moment to set the stage for why we're here today. We all know that in this fast-paced business environment, data-intensive applications demand more than legacy storage can offer. These products are burdened by outdated, rigid architectures, multiple layers of protocol, and management complexity. In contrast, our simple, secure, as-a-service platform addresses these challenges and grows along with your changing business needs. At the heart of our innovation is the evergreen architecture, which means your storage is always improving and adapting as you scale with non-disruptive upgrades. Our platform provides a unified infrastructure with a common operating system that supports all protocols natively through a single global pool of storage. And the platform delivers effortless management at scale through a single control plane, Fusion. Fusion automates storage and allows you to standardize and enforce policies across a global pool of storage. And it's all designed to operate as easily as the cloud. Only Pure delivers true storage as a service with guaranteed SLAs and continuous improvements. Now today, you'll learn about several major new innovations to our platform, including real-time enterprise file. It reinvents file services so that you are able to adapt and reconfigure in real time without introducing risk. In addition, we know that many of you are dealing with uncertainty caused by the recent Broadcom acquisition of VMware. Our new virtualization assessment will help you make informed decisions about optimizing your VMware environment. And finally, we're introducing industry-first universal credits that make storage purchasing easier and more flexible for both IT and the procurement team. We have a lot to cover. So with that, I'd like to introduce our host, Kevin Rickson. Hey, Kevin, are you excited to get started?
Absolutely. Okay, as Lynn said, we have a lot to cover today, so let's start with the introduction of our file service innovations. We've taken our simplify everything philosophy and used it to cut through the layers of complexity and rigidity that you've all had to endure with legacy storage file systems. With real-time enterprise file, your data storage can change, adapt, and reconfigure dynamically and in real time. It unlocks cloud-like efficiency with a global storage pool. It can intelligently resize storage and enable performance tiers even for your most demanding workloads. I'd like to welcome John Carnes and Karthik Srinivasan to help explain these innovations. John, this groundbreaking launch extends the advantages of the Pure Storage platform to file services. Tell us about real-time enterprise file, the problems it solves, and how it changes the game.
I'm really excited to be able to talk about real-time enterprise file. Today's modern applications, they demand much more than just performance. They need to keep data in place while expanding and evolving their workloads. This means being able to adapt, reconfigure, and change in real time, and without introducing risk. Real-time enterprise file delivers just that to our customers.
So what challenges do customers face with traditional file storage?
File storage has been around a long time. It hasn't seen innovation for ages. It reminds me of when I bought my first hard drive in the 90s. The salesperson told me I would never fill that drive. It didn't take long for me to see that the salesperson did not plan for file data sets to evolve and grow. Legacy vendors with their static architectures have been repeating the same message for 20 years, that customers will never fill that rigid file system.
Well, that sounds crazy with the data growth that we've all been seeing. But rigid static architectures aren't the only issue, are they?
That's right, Kevin. There are several challenges with legacy file architectures in three key areas. The first area is complexity. These architectures at scale become more complex. This is due to multi-layer designs, multi-array management, and legacy tiering. The second area is inability to handle workload diversity and ensuring consistent data access. This includes inconsistent quality of service, data access and fragmentation in areas, and complex security management. Finally, the last area, multi-layered legacy file, makes it difficult to deliver service level required to support modern applications and workloads. This is yet another limitation that legacy storage has been imposing on data center admins.
So what's happening in data centers as a result of these challenges?
So let's break these down one at a time, starting with complexity at scale. Legacy storage systems are multi-layered, and they've been adding layers over the years. And with every layer, they've been adding complexity for 20 years. These systems continuously require you to reconfigure and pre-configure volumes, aggregates, and RAID groups, and more. This inflexibility of management and the structures that they have only limit the adaptability of these storage environments. Every data center is different, but the complexity will continue to grow as they scale, add workloads, expand from one array to 1,000 arrays. They see new data types and use cases that are added in the data center. Whether it's scale up or scale out architectures, the complexity will continue to increase and weigh down these legacy architectures. The IT teams will waste valuable time continuously being bogged down, handling complex integrations and management operations. As these environments scale, tiering also becomes a challenge because traditional tiering solutions require data to be migrated across hot, warm, and cold tiers in different hardware platforms, adding management overhead, reducing efficiency, and increasing operating costs.
Well, it sounds like something's got to change then.
Yes, it is really time to leave legacy where it belongs in the past. Companies need a platform that is designed from the ground up to take continuous advantage of new technologies and the flexibility and agility to keep pace in the future.
Okay, John, so then tell us how real-time enterprise file is different.
Well, to start, it's about the Pure Storage platform. There's no layers in it. There's nothing like flex files, aggregates, or RAID groups. Thanks to Purity, You get a single consistent OS and simplified data management across all your storage. It provides a unified, streamlined architecture, allowing resources to be dynamically consumed globally without the need for reservations, allocations, or pre-planning. So these environments are fundamentally simpler at their cores. And as your storage environment scales, we have Pure Fusion that provides operations across the entire fleet globally. That means you can apply workloads, provision storage, have storage mobility, and do all this across the entire fleet. So as you scale up and scale out your demands, you don't introduce complexity into your infrastructure, and your storage teams have less headaches. Best of all, it's natively integrated into each array. You don't have to have anything external. We call that agility as opposed to rigidity. So as you go from one array to thousands, management continues to be straightforward and simple.
Well, that's amazing, John. So really, it's the foundational architecture of Pure that makes all of this possible. Now, you mentioned the data migration that legacy systems require for tiering earlier and how much of a hassle that is for IT teams. Karthik, could you please tell us how Pure handles tiering without those migration headaches?
You know, Kevin, customers need a smarter way of tiering data without the complexity of moving data across disparate storage systems or tiers. We are very excited to announce an industry-first concept, zero-move tiering. Pure Storage's innovative approach to providing the TCO benefits of data tiering without the complications of various moving parts and inefficiencies associated with traditional storage systems. With zero-move tiering on Purity, FlashBlade can provide access to hot and cold tiers of data automatically, all within the same namespace, all without dealing with stubs, licensing, multiple management planes, or migrating data to separate storage infrastructure like legacy solutions. Zero-move tiering also allows system administrators to pin entire workloads, or file systems in our case, to hot or cold data tiers based on specific performance needs. And because it runs on Purity, it can benefit from Pure Storage's robust data services like safe mode snapshots, replication, worm, inline compression, and data at rest encryption. You know, this intelligent data management eliminates legacy tiering complexity and optimizes for both performance and cost. And workloads like EDA, data analytics are great candidates since they require a hot tier for queries or scratch space, but also need the older data to be in the same namespace for future use.
Thanks, Karthik. That sounds like a real innovation. John, what else have we done to revolutionize file services?
Well, real-time enterprise file provides agility. It can handle diverse file workloads and ensure predictable data access. We've introduced some key capabilities such as always-on NFS and SMB multi-protocol support. That simplifies protocol configuration for all file use cases. As your workload change and consolidate and merge with each other, always-on quality of service is included as part of Purity, ensuring that resources are available to all workloads. Additionally, to handle the limitation around siloed data and rigid data ownership, real-time enterprise file is introducing secure multi-tenancy for file. Now you can service file data using multiple untrusted domains, present multiple shares and export namespaces, or access data between domains. This results in secure data access, eliminating the risk of data visibility among tenants, but without siloing the data. And speaking of security, multiple layers, multiple arrays, and larger data sets mean there are greater risk. Real-time enterprise file simplifies security and forensics for your file workloads with the announcement of always-on security logging. Finally, we are also extending Copilot to file services in a public trial. This delivers the power of natural language processing to file services management. Simply ask a question to Copilot and gain deep insights into your file workloads.
Well, why don't we take a look at how that works?
So let's see how AI Copilot simplifies your day-to-day, starting with a general health check. AI Copilot quickly gives us a full report across several key areas: security, capacity, performance, users, protocols, and virtual machines. It highlights where everything is running smoothly and flags potential issues, in this case, performance, users, protocols, and virtual machines. Instead of manually checking multiple dashboards, AI Copilot instantly brings everything together in one place. Now, let's dig into those flagged performance issues. AI Copilot dives deeper, revealing that the issue occurred on a networking port on the array XL/10UK. This port reached peak utilization for nearly 25 minutes, which likely caused higher latencies for users accessing file shares. And Copilot doesn't just identify the issue, it also brings us solutions. In this case, it suggests either adding another file interface to spread the load or using link aggregation to combine multiple network interfaces for better performance. So let's ask it to tell us why the port reached peak utilization in the first place. Instead of searching through logs or relying on multiple teams to track down the cause, AI Copilot shows that a single user performed bandwidth-intensive read and write operations on an engineering file share during that time. Meanwhile, the bandwidth usage from other users remained steady, meaning that this particular user likely caused the spike. It also detected that the space consumed by MP4 files grew significantly during this period. And while neither Pure Storage nor Copilot has access to your actual data, this insight, gathered from metadata like file types, gives you a better understanding of how your storage is being used. You also get visualizations showing the throughput by user and network interface, clearly pinpointing who and what caused the bottleneck. Now, let's ask it to investigate the protocol issues it pointed out earlier. And here's where AI Copilot really shines. It doesn't just look at storage, it highlights issues outside your array, like misconfigurations in Active Directory or DNS. In this case, there were increased errors when trying to connect to our domain controllers from the array that would have impacted user access to SMB file shares. The root cause? Some domain controllers were unreachable, and DNS returned them in an unexpected order. But again, AI Copilot offers clear recommendations. Either modify the DNS configuration to prioritize specific domain controllers, or configure the array itself to prefer certain domain controllers. This saves you the hassle of coordinating with multiple teams to track down non-storage related issues. AI Copilot quickly provides a solution, and you can move on to the next task. To take another step away from troubleshooting array-based issues, let's look at another example. Using VM Analytics, Pure One can collect detailed information about your VMware environment, helping to diagnose bottlenecks between the virtual world and your physical storage. And because it's already integrated into Pure One, AI Copilot can also assist in troubleshooting VMware environments, whether they're running on file or block-based data stores. For this last example, let's take a look at a virtual machine that was reported to be running slow. AI Copilot provides a comprehensive analysis of the entire VM stack, from the guest VM to the storage array. The problem? Latency with the VM itself was significantly higher than on the array, and its CPU utilization is frequently at 100%. Copilot's recommendation here is to adjust the queue depth and CPU allocation, so we can fine-tune the VM settings to improve performance and ensure it operates efficiently moving forward. As you've seen, AI Copilot doesn't just provide information, it turns data into action. From fleet health to user activity and even troubleshooting network and VM configurations, it's your assistant for managing and securing your storage and file services with ease. With AI Copilot, complex infrastructure management becomes simpler, more intuitive, and incredibly powerful, giving you more time to focus on what matters most to your organization.
Wow, that really does look like an easier way to manage file services. So we've talked about a lot of amazing software innovations so far, but what about the hardware? Is there anything new there too?
Yes, Kevin, there is. We are also enhancing and extending all-flash benefits to new workloads with the introduction of FlashBlade S100, and also supporting larger scale with 150 terabyte direct flash modules, or DFMs. This allows the Pure Storage platform to deliver real-time enterprise file capabilities at any scale with FlashBlade S100. For customers looking for larger scale, we're excited to announce the release of the industry's most dense 150 terabyte DFM. This announcement further extends the potential capacity of both FlashArray and FlashBlade systems, making the Pure Storage platform the most power and space efficient solution in the market. With 150 terabyte DFMs in FlashArray E, for example, customers can achieve 4 petabytes or more of raw capacity in just 3 rack units without sacrificing space or power efficiency. This is something no other vendor can promise. And thanks to the platform's evergreen architecture and true as-a-service Evergreen One subscription, we can deliver all these capabilities with consistent service level agreements and a cloud-like experience.
It's incredible to see how Pure is really pushing the envelope in terms of efficiency and performance of our arrays, especially when energy use and space limitations are starting to be top of mind for so many. Well, thank you, John and Karthik, for walking us through the challenges the data center teams face and the ways that Pure Storage has reinvented file services to address them. Real-time enterprise file, zero-move tiering, and Copilot for File will really change the way storage admins manage their file data services. Once again, Pure is simplifying what would be really complex in other systems and delivering the agility you all need to keep pace. But making decisions about your storage environment takes more than just management capabilities. You need to make the right decisions and take the right actions in the face of a changing technology and vendor landscape. This is the challenge facing customers of VMware after the Broadcom acquisition. They're looking at a variety of different options now, including staying on VMware, moving to the cloud, switching hypervisors, or migrating to Kubernetes. Our new virtualization assessment tool allows VMware customers to optimize their environment and see where they may be over or under provisioned. This will help you chart a path for modernizing virtualization and determining the most cost-efficient option for your organization's goals. This new assessment joins the ones already included at no extra cost or licensing in the Pure Storage platform to help you optimize your storage, security, and costs. For more on the virtualization assessment, let's go to my colleague Matt Bradford for a demo.
Those of you who have been with Pure Storage know that we love to develop ways to help our customers simplify things, even if it's not storage. For example, Pure Protect DRAS is changing the way we think about architecting for the worst case scenarios. And we're doing it again, this time to help you optimize your VMware environments. For years, Pure One has been empowering our customers by offering a unified platform to plan, optimize, and manage their Pure Storage with ease. And with VM Analytics, troubleshooting bottlenecks, noisy neighbors, and performance spikes has become a lot easier. Now, we're building on this success with the new virtualization assessment. With the mounting pressure to manage new VMware costs, many organizations are actively seeking ways to optimize their VMware environments. Yet without the right governance and observability tools, it's really difficult to identify inefficiencies and make informed decisions. And that's where the new virtualization assessment in Pure One comes in. We're not just helping you to manage resources, we're empowering you to take control of your VMware licensing costs while maximizing performance, capacity, and efficiency.
Now, let's take a closer look at how the virtualization assessment can break down your VMware environment and help you save on licensing costs. With the new virtualization assessment in Pure One, we bring your entire VMware environment together in one place, providing clear visibility into your overall utilization across vCenters, clusters, and data centers over the last 7 days. In this example, we're oversized. 77% of our CPU is not utilized, leaving 19 out of 22 hosts underutilized and 523 cores unused. And because VMware is licensed by cores, this directly translates to overspending on licensing. But no worries, because the virtualization assessment has done all the math for you. It calculates your total cost and potential savings based on your specific license parameters, like bundle type, commitment period, and cost per core, all of which are customizable. And in this case, we're looking at a potential savings of $183,000 annually. Now, these numbers are certainly impressive, but to take action, we need to dig deeper. The assessment can break things down by vCenter, showing 3 that are significantly underutilized and 1 that's over-provisioned. So let's drill into that over-provisioned one. In this vCenter, we have a single cluster, and we can drill down even further to the host level. And out of 3 hosts, 1 is severely over-provisioned while the other 2 have capacity. So let's drill into the over-provisioned host. Not only do we have a capacity recommendation, because obviously the host is over-provisioned, but we also have a performance tuning recommendation. In this case, it's due to the path selection policy not being configured for round robin, which could lead to potential performance and availability issues down the road. To help this cluster out, we could enable Distributed Resource Scheduler to balance the load, but even then we'd still need to add at least 1 host to avoid being over-provisioned. Or we could also take a look at the virtual machines and determine if some can be migrated or shut down. Now, let's take a look at another vCenter. vCenter 7 is costing us around $180,000 annually, but since it's underutilized, we could potentially save $148,000. When we look at a specific cluster, like this labs cluster with 4 significantly underutilized hosts, we can click into that host to get cost optimization recommendations and view the VM topology in VM Analytics. Likewise, we can also view recommendations at the virtual machine level, like this one, which has 2 cores but has been running below 15% CPU utilization for the past 7 days. With these insights, the virtualization assessment makes it easy to pinpoint opportunities for cost savings and optimization. And when you're ready to take action, you can download a full report for seamless planning and collaboration.
As you've just seen, the new virtualization assessment in Pure One provides a complete view of your VMware environment, helping you to take control of your resources, reduce costs, and ensure optimal performance. By leveraging the same powerful analytics that have been simplifying storage management for years, we're now giving you the tools to navigate your VMware strategy with confidence. This is so much more than just resource management. It's like finding money in your data center that you didn't even know you had. So if you're ready to take the next step in optimizing your VMware environment, keep an eye out for the all-new virtualization assessment in Pure One.
Thanks, Matt. The virtualization assessment can help folks through these confusing times. VMware licenses are part of some of the most important storage workloads, and getting them right is critical. The assessment tool that Matt walked us through shows how you can save on licensing costs right away. The evolving VMware landscape is just one example of the change that is constant for IT. That change can make planning and predictability on the financial side of things really difficult. Let's look at another innovation that will help you optimize your storage spend even in the face of massive change. For example, what happens if a workload needs to move to the public cloud on Pure Cloud Block Store, or you need another storage class from the Evergreen One catalog, or your Portworx modern application development really takes off? Wouldn't it be great if the storage budget that you've already allocated could be easily moved to another project? Guess what? Pure has solved that challenge too. Let's welcome Payal Srivastava, who will tell us more about this. Hi, Payal. Thanks for joining us here today.
Thank you, Kevin. Great to be here.
Before we get into the big announcement, Payal, can you please give us a quick refresher on Pure Storage Evergreen One?
Sure, Kevin. Evergreen One is the industry-leading storage as a service offering that provides unified subscription model for Pure Storage platform. So one subscription for block, file, and object storage across private and public environments. It features 10 SLAs and guarantees things like performance, zero downtime, energy efficiency, paid power and rack benefits, as well as recently announced add-ons including cyber recovery and resilience and site rebalance. On top of all that, we recently released a new service tier for AI workloads, specifically called Evergreen//One for AI. If we reflect back to the legacy file challenges John mentioned at the beginning of the webinar that make it difficult to deliver the service levels that applications and workloads require, Evergreen//One solves this. Evergreen//One eliminates the complexities of hands-on infrastructure management, replacing them with guaranteed outcomes that improve operational efficiency and reduce risk.
Well, Pure's always been on the forefront of redefining how people consume their storage. So let's talk about another exciting innovation in this launch. Pure Storage Universal Credits. What are universal credits, and why do you think they'll be valuable for Pure customers?
Pure Storage is introducing a new consumption model that is totally unique to the storage industry. We are always looking for ways to give our customers more flexibility in how they purchase and use our best-in-class storage services. With universal credits, customers can purchase a pool of committed credits upfront, which can be used to activate the services they need as they need them. There's no requirement to activate all the services immediately. It can be done throughout the contract life. So, as business needs change over time, customers can easily pivot to the right storage service for their workload anytime. By separating the consumption event from the procurement, customers will be able to increase operational agility and move way faster.
Well, it sounds like it is more than just flexible consumption. It's also about flexibility and predictability in budgeting and in planning.
Absolutely. Not only can customers consume on demand, but they can also align spending with actual usage, which optimizes their budget utilization. By negotiating contracts based on total spend and rather than individual products, customers can unlock greater flexibility. This approach was made popular among cloud providers as it allows administrators to dynamically allocate resources when and where they are needed most. And there are other teams apart from IT that benefit as well. Procurement will especially appreciate this flexibility as it simplifies the purchasing process, while infrastructure owners can more quickly adapt due to smoother collaboration with procurement. And by actively managing consumption to fully utilize committed credits, customers ensure that spending directly reflects the services used, avoiding costs for unused credits, and maximizing the value of storage investments. The universal credits model also includes automated renewals, which reduces administrative overhead for everyone involved and ensures continuous service delivery. And perhaps the biggest advantage of all, customers that pre-commit to universal credits receive a volume discount based on length and amount of their commitment.
Well, that is indeed a real advantage. What about unused credits, though? What happens if a customer doesn't use up their credits by the end of that commitment term?
That's where we really differ. The great thing about Pure's Universal Credits program is that any unused credits can be rolled over with a contract extension of the same annual commitment as the original term. It's not a use it or lose it situation.
Well, that's fantastic. So what Pure Storage services are eligible with universal credits?
All Evergreen services are available for activation with universal credits, as well as Pure Cloud Block Store. So anywhere our services are sold, they're universal credits eligible. With Evergreen//One's recent expansion to 32 countries, customers can take advantage of the new consumption model in more locations than ever before. And one last thing, Portworx consumption is also coming in the near future, so stay tuned for that as well.
Well, thank you for walking us through the Evergreen//One and the Universal Credits announcement, Payal. I'm excited to see the ways that our customers will be able to take advantage of this new SaaS-like delivery model. So far, we've covered a lot in this webinar. real-time enterprise file, zero-move tiering, the virtualization assessment, and universal credits. We showed you how Pure Storage addresses the problems you face with complex and rigid legacy storage systems. The innovations we talked about today not only make managing your infrastructure easier and simpler, but they just make sense for the business. Now, let's get a real-world view of what we've introduced today. Up next is Mike DeHaan, Infrastructure Services Manager and Enterprise Architect for the Mississippi Department of Revenue. Welcome, Mike.
Hey, Kevin. Great to be talking to you today.
You've been a long-time Pure customer. Can you tell us a bit about your evolution, both in your own role and how your IT org has evolved? And I'd also love to know more about how your organization's use of Pure products has changed over the years, too.
Yeah, of course. So I started with the agency about 8 years ago. I was a lowly network specialist, too. In the time that I've been with the agency, I worked my way up to a senior position, then into a lead position. And I was actually moved into an architecture position for a couple of years. But then came the fateful day when my boss walked into my office and tricked me into management. So I always like to joke, I'm an engineer that got tricked into management, but I think I'm a better manager because of that, because it really helps us to keep a focus on engineering. Kind of running tangential to my story with the agency has been Pure's story with the agency. So imagine me bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, right out of college, 2 weeks into my first enterprise job, and we've got to deploy a Flash stack. It's a pretty heavy ask, right? So I was baptized in Flash from the beginning, where we deployed a single Flash array. From there, we have a variable fleet of Pure running now.
That's great. So in a way, you've evolved right along with Pure. And when you started, we had only one product, and now we offer a unified storage platform. So how have you experienced that growth yourself? And how is the always improving Pure Storage platform helping you today?
It's been a really interesting story with our agency as it's grown. We started with a singular M array to facilitate a workload we were taking over for a pretty heavy system that was kind of breaking ground for us. And it was really filling a specific need. But as we grew from there, we started to really focus on building a platform aimed at providing capacity and capability for our workloads. So, we initially had that Flash array, and then another Flash array came, and then we found ourselves needing a unified fast file and object storage platform. And that came right on the heels of Pure releasing the FlashBlade. As we've kind of walked through there have been more needs that have come along, whether it be archive storage or, a little bit of like a tier 2 type storage to facilitate some of our VMs. And Pure has been walking right through that story with us. And what's been so cool to watch, especially with some of the announcements coming out recently, is that we're even starting to see some of the barriers between unified fast file and object on the FlashBlade side move over into the Flash array side. And we're really able to provide a capacity platform that we can facilitate our workloads on based off what they need, not trying to pigeonhole something into it.
Yeah, that's great, because it really is not about just individual pieces. It's about all of it coming together. Well, one of the things that Pure Storage has always emphasized is two-way communication with our customers, and that feedback helps us refine our platform roadmap. I know your org also has a roadmap of where you want to go. So how have these two roadmaps come together? And can you give your peers any examples of new capabilities that have been on your wish list and what benefits you hope to see as a result of them?
It's so interesting with kind of looking at how our roadmap and Pure's roadmap works together. Another announcement that's come out recently is the FlashBlade S100. So we're in the process right now of building a new physical warehouse for the distribution of wine and liquor in the state of Mississippi. And I would really love to be able to bring some of those utilities that the FlashBlade has into that workload, but it's just not quite enough data to justify an S200 or even an S500 or something like that. But here comes Pure stepping out with the S100, and it's a way for us to take those capabilities and power and everything that kind of goes along with the FlashBlade and bring that to the applications that are going to be running kind of in those odd places, right? And we've continued to see that pathway walk with us with Pure as we've been with them, and I don't think it's going to be slowing down anytime soon.
Awesome. Well, I'm really glad that you were able to let our viewers know about how you're able to take advantage of the S100. Our big news today includes real-time enterprise file. Is that a capability that lines up with your goals? And if so, how are you looking to take advantage of that?
It certainly is. So we started with FlashBlade servicing some pretty specific workloads, but it's such a malleable, performant, capable platform for us that we found a lot of other workloads finding a home on there, right? It's kind of become the place for the oddball workloads that don't really make sense on block storage, right? So it's been something that's been great for us because, we have, application owners and DBAs that a lot of times we like to turn over API level access to. But, we have problems with that because, we don't want them to see everything, right? But now we're having more and more capability to where we can start building, sort of namespaces within those so we can isolate them down to see just what we want them to see. Because anybody that's worked with a project manager before, if you show them the capacity you have, they're going to ask for 95% of it, right? So this is kind of a way for us to do that. And we can also right size it and house more, right? It allows us to do more and grow more and push more into different areas. And I think the other side of that is our actual business operations have become more dependent on it, and we're getting more visibility into it. It's such an interesting place that we've gotten to with our Pure environment, is that we kind of use that as the pulse for everything else that's running through and kind of clipping in our environment. And we're getting another data tap where we can start pulling information out that we can use to understand what's going on.
Well, that's great. That's the perfect example of the platform at work. And I'm going to tell our FlashBlade engineers that you said it's perfect for oddball workloads. They're going to get a kick out of that. So what's next on the horizon for your team?
So one of the things that's been brought to our attention lately is the need for mobility between hypervisor solutions. We've kind of found out lately that sometimes costs change, economics change, and we need to have the ability to move our workloads between platforms so that we can kind of work with our business units in those needs. One of the utilities that's been great for us to really try and get an idea of what's going to be involved is the virtual machine analytics utilities, right? Because now we can start and look deeper into what are we really running? What do we really need a hypervisor or a containerization platform to do for us in those places where we're doing that? And I think another key component of that is going to be the S100, where we can take some of those unified fast file and object utilities and map those to the needs.
Yeah, and the virtualization assessment tool will be another one that you can add to your toolbox to help you out with that as well. Are there any other pearls of wisdom that you want to share with the audience, especially your peers in the audience, that we haven't touched on yet?
If there is a little nugget that I can kind of leave behind, it's to stay creative in your problem solving and work with your account team on that. I regularly send my sales engineer, Scott, he's a great guy. I regularly send him emails that make him nervous, saying something to the ends of, I have a bad idea and I'd love to run this past you. And, there are so many people at Pure that really bleed orange, right? So that we found some really creative solutions in that process that have been able to squash our needs incredibly effectively.
Well, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. One of my favorite parts of this job is talking to passionate customers like you and hearing how Pure solutions are helping achieve organizational goals. And now I'd like to welcome back Lynn for her closing thoughts.
Wow, what a powerful set of announcements to the Pure Storage platform. We heard about real-time enterprise file, zero move tiering, the virtualization assessment, and universal credits, all to make your data center and business simple, agile, and more cost-efficient. So what got you excited? Whether it was simplifying your file infrastructure, optimizing your VMware environment, or improving the way you purchase storage as a service, we want to help you take the next steps to evolve your data infrastructure.
Okay, what a great presentation. So many really interesting perspectives. Big thank you to Pure Storage for putting together such a great session. And for those of you who ask questions, we will make sure that the Pure Storage team gets those questions so they can follow up with you. And a quick reminder that this is your last chance to grab those handouts before we close the event in a minute or two. Now, before we wrap up, we have one more piece of business, and that is the Amazon gift card prize drawing. And the winner of that $250 Amazon gift card is Derek Zalonka. So we'll be in touch to get you your card. Derek Zalonka from Texas. And with that, on behalf of the Actual Tech Media team, I want to thank Pure Storage for making this event possible. And thanks as always to all of you for attending. That's going to conclude today's event. Have a great rest of your day.